This is Stadium Steve. Today we are reviewing SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. It is home to the NFL's Los Angeles Chargers and Los Angeles Rams. This is also one of the most expensive stadiums ever built and is incredibly picturesque and beautiful, known as one of the most beautiful stadiums in the NFL. The first question, like always, is how do you get here? Well, it is in Inglewood, California, so it's very difficult to get here. The light rail system did not really go anywhere close. There were plans on building a people mover, which would be really, really nice because there are 3 stadiums or arenas in this area. Unfortunately, the people of Inglewood did not approve the people mover, so it is very difficult to get to any of these arenas and stadiums. The only way to get here is to drive. Parking prices are expensive, like most LA venues. But the other problem is Inglewood is very, very unsafe, like most of LA or the LA area. So it is really beneficial that even though the parking prices are what they are, to try to, splurge a little bit, get a little bit more expensive parking so you're right up next to the arena, or the stadium in this case. So here are some pictures of SoFi Stadium from the outside. Like I said, it's a very, very beautiful, picturesque stadium. It has this canopy over it, and the interesting part about the stadium is that you actually go down into the stadium as opposed to going up. So the stadium in itself doesn't appear as high as some other stadiums. Also, unlike a lot of stadiums, they don't allow hardly anything inside the stadium. So be cautious because the security guards here are like the mafia. Even though there are things not on the list of approved items to bring to the stadium, the security guards will tell you not to bring certain things even though they are not on the list. I have a camera that I use to take these videos that is not outlawed per the stadium rules, but security guards confiscated my camera as I walked into the arena or into the stadium. So just very, very cognizant of the mafia security guards. So as you can see, here we are on my phone. So I apologize that the picture is not as good. I'm another reason why not to ever come to the stadium. As you walk in, I mentioned earlier, you do kind of walk down into the stadium, which is really nice. Also, in other videos, I've mentioned that I'm not the biggest fan of the NFL, partially because of some of the things that went on a couple of years ago. So this game, I am not watching an NFL game. I am actually watching the LA Bowl, which features the UNLV Rebels versus the University of California Golden Bears. So different experience, not quite as many people, which, as you will see a little bit later, is actually incredibly beneficial for the stadium. As we kind of walk into the main field, the number one thing you'll recognize is the scoreboard up above. It is a circular ring, an incredibly beautiful scoreboard, an incredibly beautiful stadium and field view of the stadium. The biggest problem with this stadium is that even though it is incredibly beautiful and picturesque, it is not fan-friendly. Food-wise, there are very limited food options. It's really your basic food: hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, french fries. They do have a couple of Mexican options like burritos and tacos, but for the most part, it is very, very limited in what food you can get. Also, the food is incredibly overpriced, and that goes to the beer. The beer, they don't have hardly any options of beer, maybe only 3 or 4. And those beers can run you between $18 and $20. I mean, just incredibly overpriced food and beer here. Also, as we kind of progress through the stadium, the only parts that are really open like this, where you have a little bit of room to move, are at the ends of the stadium, near the end zones, and here in the main concourse. Once you start going down the sides of the stadium, the walkways get very, very narrow. And like I said, there weren't that many people here because it was a bowl game. But you can see here on the right, everything narrows when you start heading into a corridor, which is essentially wall-to-wall people. And thank God there weren't that many people here, but you could imagine during an NFL game, it's already really, really crowded through here. During an NFL game, it's going to be wall-to-wall people. You're not going to be able to move. The other side of it is here on the right, you can see there are some tables where you can kind of stand, watch the game while you eat. Again, that creates some problems because people are standing there eating their food, and that blocks the walkways. So again, even though this is a very, very beautiful stadium, it is not fan-friendly at all. Okay, so here are some views from our seats. The view was incredibly, was really good from our seats. Mind you, we are sitting in the 200 section because this was a bowl game. Only the lower bowl was open. But you can see that they're really great seats. The seats were really comfortable. There was a lot of leg room, and there were a couple there to put your beers. So the actual seats and view of the game was really great. And as you can see here, the stadium in itself is beautiful. The only question I have is if you go up to the very upper deck with the top rows, you wonder how much they're going to be able to see the game. Because right now, even sitting in these great seats, the players are not really that big. You can definitely see everything and view them. But you can imagine from the very, very upper deck in the last row, you wonder if the players are going to be like ants. And also you wonder if the scoreboard coming down will obscure some of the views. Obviously from my view here, you really can't tell. The other side of it is, because again this is a bowl game, my ticket prices were not that much. But you can imagine during an NFL game, the ticket prices are going to be incredibly expensive, even for these nosebleeds, as you can see at the very, very upper deck of the stadium, are going to be very expensive. And because this is in LA, you can almost guarantee that everything is going to be more expensive and the price is going to be jacked up. And as you can see here, here's a view from our seats, as well as some play from the LA Bowl. Okay, here are my final thoughts, and I'll be completely honest with SoFi Stadium. It is not a stadium you're going to want to go to. It's not safe to get there. There's no public transportation to get there, so you have to drive. Parking prices are overly expensive. And then once you get inside the stadium, it is not fan-friendly at all. It is going to be very, very crowded, the larger number of fans that are there. And for the main part, the food and the beer is incredibly overpriced. In order to get into the arena, you're probably going to be spending a lot of money on tickets. Even for the nosebleeds, they're going to be expensive, and at the nosebleeds, you're not going to be able to see everything. So this stadium is not fan-friendly. It is a very, very beautiful stadium in and of itself, but it's really not worth the time and the energy and the effort and the price to go there. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, or TikTok. See you on the next one.